Deliberately locked the pilot out of the cockpit, then flew that Germanwings jet with 150 people on board into a mountain. There are only a handful of examples in the last few decades when a pilot brought down an airliner intentionally. Investigators are trying to sort out what made him do it. We have Fox team coverage tonight. Amy Kellogg is near the crash site with the latest on recovery efforts in reaction to the news. But first, correspondent Doug McElway is here in Washington with where the investigation stands now. Good evening, Doug.
Good evening, Chris. Lufthansa Airlines, the parent company of Germanwings, is known for its impeccable safety record and its devotion to German precision. For those reasons, the words to describe the cause of the crash of Flight 9525 did not come easy to the company's CEO.
We from Lufthansa are speechless that this aircraft has been deliberately crashed by the co-pilot.
Lufthansa executives say 28-year-old First Officer Andreas Lubitz ended his own life and those of 149 innocents in a demonstration of precision fly-by-wire straight into a mountain. An act that spoke of some premeditation. They say he waited for the captain to exit the cockpit and locked the reinforced door.
The doors are technically set up so that they can always be opened from the inside. When that is not possible, there is the option of opening the doors from the outside with a code, unless this is explicitly blocked from the inside.
Investigators say Lubitz did just that, flipping a toggle which electrically inserted a second deadbolt. The cockpit voice recorder revealed the captain's gentle knocks turned increasingly frantic, followed by a desperate attempt to break the door down as passengers screamed before impact. In the U.S., the FAA requires 2 people in the cockpit at all times to avoid precisely the Germanwings scenario.
Lufthansa and the other European carriers on intra-European flights have elected to use the one crew member rule, and that gives the person inside control of the airplane all by themselves.
A reported lifelong love of flying led Andreas Lubitz to join a German flying club and to get a private pilot's license in the U.S. He was relatively inexperienced in the A320 aircraft with only 100 hours in the cockpit. French prosecutors say there is no evidence of a conspiracy nor of lone wolf terrorism.
Nothing permits us to say that it is a terrorist act. Now we will see the environment of this person.
Investigators will likely probe his relationships, his communications, trace his whereabouts and behavior in recent weeks. He was accepted into Lufthansa, quote, 100% set to fly, without restrictions.
When we choose our candidates, we don't only look for technical skills, but in particular, we look for psychologically healthy coworkers.
As with U.S. carriers, there's no follow-up monitoring in Europe of a commercial pilot's psychological health.
Once you're in and once you're flying, you are not psychologically tested.
The Germanwings' apparent murder-suicide is not unique. In 1999, First Officer Gamil al-Batouti nosedived Egypt Air Flight 990 into the Atlantic. Though it's been disputed, days earlier he had been reportedly reprimanded for inappropriate sexual behavior with women. The cockpit voice recorder found that as the Boeing 767 sped downwards, he said 11 times, quote, "I rely on God." The German newspaper Frankfurter Allgemeine is reporting tonight that Lubitz took a 3-month break from his flight training because of depression. Late today, Lufthansa announced it is among a group of European airlines which will introduce a 2-pilot rule in the cockpit. That plan will go to German aviation authorities tomorrow, with the expectation it will be implemented as soon as possible. Chris?
Doug, thank you. Now to senior foreign affairs correspondent Amy Kellogg, who is in the French Alps near the crash site. Amy.
Chris, a local trekking guide who knows these mountains very well, said to me tonight, you, the International Press Corps, will all leave here soon, but we, the hikers, the shepherds, the sportsmen who frequent this area, will live with this sadness forever because we are amidst a virtual human cemetery. Now tonight, 40 families of the victims arrived here. They wanted to see the site. Some gave DNA. Probably many brought dental records. They will be leaving straight away, probably early tomorrow morning, and won't be bringing loved ones back with them because the recovery is going to take a very long time. Recovery crews paid homage to the dead, holding the flags of their countries of origin in a line of honor. In Spain, a colleague of one of the deceased had this reaction to the revelation that the co-pilot had apparently purposefully crashed the plane.
What we feel is powerless and angry. Regardless of the motive, I think one person does not have the right to put an end to the lives of 150 people and their families.
And there were moments of silence today at Germany's Bundestag, Germanwings headquarters, and this school that lost 16 students who had been on their way back from an exchange in Spain. The mayor of the town that school is in, Haltern, had this to say today.
I am personally stunned, furious, speechless, and deeply shocked about this news. That is why I can't tell you anything about the motivation of such a human. Therefore, may I please ask you to understand that I cannot comment further beyond this.
Chris, people here say that they can think of nothing else. And they're concerned also that when this recovery is finished, they will still, for years, keep finding bits, possibly of body parts, but of wreckage that were deeply embedded in the soil. And they're worried the area will draw wolves. And that will, of course, endanger rescue and recovery crews and also just be a menace to the area. Chris.
Amy Kellogg reporting live from the French Alps. Amy.